Peace. This is your girl, Golden Maat Dawn, and this is my first YouTube video. I am here to discuss the healing properties of plants and go into plant therapy. It's something that I found that is very helpful, very therapeutic, and to decompress from distractions, to unwind from your hectic day, and just to zone out when your reality seems to be too much to handle. So, we're going to talk about the therapeutic properties of plants with me. So, I did a little video about a day, what I tried to eat in a day with for as far as plant-based. I'm not plant-based, I'm not vegan, I'm not anything like that, but I'm trying. My goal is to do my best, put my best foot forward. So I put a little compilation together about that, and I'm just going through my notes here. I've been studying, studying and showing myself approved, and Spirit has been dealing with me just to go into another avenue. I am the owner of All Living Things LLC, and my initial mission was to educate my community of melanated beings about the benefits of plants, you know, as far as stress relief, as far as oxygen, as far as just ambiance to your home, just, you know, to make you smile. Um, and that started about 2017. So I've been in business successfully, um, consecutively, going on 4 years now. So, and as I'm getting deeper into my spiritual journey, my business is going along with me. So we're pivoting and going more towards healing those who are on the same spiritual journey, who come across roadblocks or chaotic times there. So through plants, we can find healing. We can breathe in that good oxygen that plant generates for us. That good ass prana baby, as homeboy says. So just, and of course there is a large community who already knows about this plant therapy, horticultural therapy, um, but they are not of our kind, and they have not shared with us the benefits. I mean, to the cognitive effects, benefits, um, the psychological benefits, the physiological benefits that growing a plant, growing your own food creates for someone who has, mobility issues, being outside, gardening and stretching and pulling in their rehabilitation. And someone with anger issues, they can take their anger out on some soil. They can take their anger out on chopping a piece of wood in nature. So we have to normalize being in nature, utilizing the benefits that nature is here for us. And that's our starting point. We have just some facts about horticultural therapy. Benjamin Rush is quote unquote the father of psychology, who also gave us drapetomania and negritude. Um, the father of modern day psychiatry, not psychology. And horticultural therapy has been documented, used as far back as World War II, or as far as we know, ancient Egypt, where the royals were advised to go walk and take a stroll through the palace garden, when you're having a stressful day. And even in that, it's a stress relief just to be in nature and to be surrounded by beautiful things, to say what's really going on. What is the problem? So we have, as I mentioned, cognitive benefits, as it arouses curiosity. We increase power of observation to know, what's that plant? What's this part to a plant? How does it grow? What is it growing out of? What makes it grow? Just those few questions. Just looking at a plant, it makes you think. So, uh, increases vocabulary because you learn marginata. This is a Dracaena marginata. So you're learning Latin derivatives of terms that you may not have known before. We have social benefits of being in nature, being around plants, cultivating plants. It increases communication skills because now that I know what a marginata is, I want to know, does anybody else know what a marginata is? Or what kind of soil do you use for your marginata? How is your marginata growing? So it makes you want to interact with others, and just off of one simple plant or one simple um, spark, we'll say. Um, Emotional benefits to communing with nature, to being with plants, plant life, cultivating plant life. You begin to get feelings of self-confidence and self-esteem. It builds your self-esteem to know that I can take care of something. I can maintain it. This is a living, breathing entity that I am tasked to take care of. And now I have successfully done that. So that makes me feel good. It makes me feel good about myself. It makes me feel good that I can take on more plants in my world, that I can maintain and we can both live. It definitely promotes a creative drive because, like I said, I want to now add more to my space. And where can I decorate? And I can put it in that corner, or I can make a table, or I can make a wall piece, just to get your mind off of the other redundant things that you're going through and focus on something other than yourself and your problems. We definitely have emotional benefits, as we stated. Um, Relieve aggression again. Someone with anger issues, it's so, just you focus, and we'll go into just the time it takes to repot a plant, to pot a plant, to look for a plant. You really can't focus on anything other than that task. So it's going to relieve any pressure, aggression, tension that you're dealing with. Definitely physical benefits. The promotes exercise, not strenuous exercise, but it definitely promotes movement and mobility. And in gardening or staging plants, maintaining the plant, pruning and cleaning and watering. And depending on how many plants you have or where they're located, you have to lug around a heavy water jug. So that's going to take some strength and energy to exert to get that task done. Definitely, it will, if in any other rehabilitative therapies, such as physical therapy, that will aid. Gardening could be added on to that to promote the rehabilitation. So let's go through some more notes. So we have here about some plant therapy. Now we know gardening, I'm a beginner gardener, but I love it. I love it. Through COVID in 2020, my business took another pivot. So I've been pivoting. I used to play basketball, so my daddy taught me how to pivot with your elbow up, pivot. So, in life you gotta learn how to pivot. If you come to a halt right there, what are you gonna do? You have, I gotta get around this obstacle. So I'm gonna pivot. And with that, gardening became a part of my services offered. And that's to help those who wanted learn how to grow their own food, to build their own spaces, raised beds, container beds, planter boxes, where they could grow their own food. And that was hugely beneficial for me because I learned so much. And then it challenged me. I got challenged in ways, so many different ways in 2020. I'm thankful for. So gardening right there, it promotes or encourages relaxation. It helps you to definitely clear your mind and disconnect. So, when you're out in your garden, whether it's a big garden or a small garden, say you got one pot, you have a tomato plant growing out of one pot, it's going to take you a good 20 to 30 minutes to, once you've planted it and it's grown, you're going to have to look at that plant at least once a day. You're just going to have to fix your eyes on it at least once a day. So let me disconnect from what I have going on and look at this beautiful plant growing. Because if you don't know, most fruiting plants have flowers. They blossom flowers with the fruit that it produces. So you get to see this beautiful yellow flower, yellow white flower bloom before you even see your fruit come. So it just, how can you be tense in a situation like that? It definitely builds connection with nature. So that reason we found through COVID is, being quarantined, people inside all the time, not getting outside, not getting in touch with nature. I couldn't imagine just being in here and not being able to go outside, not be able to go outside barefoot, put my feet on the ground. And it's just, that is what we're lacking, in touch with nature, because we are nature. Nature is our mother, as we say, Mother Nature. So how can you go without speaking to your mother, your mama? So gardening in an outdoor setting or even an indoor setting, because you're still grabbing that earth, that organic matter with the soil and the plant, you're still intertwining and intermingling and communing with it to have a relationship, to grow and build a relationship, and it's a trust relationship. Definitely, I've heard that it's been compared to meditation as far as cultivating and tending to plants, because you zone out, you get into how is this happening, or what has gone wrong. If you may have a bug infestation, you have to get and investigate what's going on with that plant to see, and you zone out and you get into that meditative zone, and before you know it, who knows, hours have passed by, and hopefully you've gotten to the point of the problem. So it definitely releases good hormones, plant therapy. And just having physical activity, we release those endorphins, um, promote, boost your serotonin and dopamine levels. And you know, dopamine, that is the thing that sugar produces, that's the thing that crack cocaine produces. So why not produce it naturally and doing something beneficial for you in the long run, all the way around, whether it's plants, indoor plants, succulents, gardening, outdoors. It's going to be beneficial for you in the end. It definitely promotes better sleep and produces good feelings, as we discussed. It just it gives an emotional beneficial response to make you happy. Who doesn't want to be happy? Plant therapy gives a sense of responsibility. Um, say, someone who has, an irresponsibility issue. I can definitely take that on. Um, it just you can't it I, it get you can't um, you can't just leave it. A garden, a plant, a person. You can't just leave it. You have to take ownership. This is my plant. I have to take care of it. I want to make sure it looks good. I want it to be a reflection of me. So I'm going to maintain it. And that's my responsibility. That's my responsibility because I chose to bring it into my dwelling, my space. And it can't take care of itself, as we know. We've taken it from its natural habitat. We've taken it from the place that it grows naturally and doesn't need our help. So now we have to be responsible to maintain it and cultivate it and make sure it gets everything it needs. It's kind of easy. It's kind of easy. Um, once you take all of the tedious thought out of cultivating plants, people just like, oh, I can't take care of a plant. I can't. You eat every day, you know. If growing a plant, as we know in the past, people's lives depended on it, growing food. It wasn't, they didn't know, you didn't hear anybody back then say, oh, well, I can't grow. Well, you're just not gonna eat. So it's probably one of the easiest things you can do, and it's all about attention. What are you putting your attention on? If you have a schedule, you follow that schedule, you water the plants, you prune the plants, you feed the plants, and you on a consistent basis, that plant is going to produce something beneficial for you. Whether it's oxygen with the indoor plant, whether it's a pretty, piece to look at, whether it's food outside, and that's a big piece. If long as you keep it on a schedule, be responsible, do your activity to maintain that area, it's going to produce for you. It's a give and take. So one thing I've learned is a term called biophilia, and that is, the definition is humankind's innate biological connection with nature. So it's something in us that has to be connected with nature. As we know, we well, if we don't know, our physical bodies are similar to the makeup of a plant, as the roots, our lower parts, the root, we have our stem, our trunk of a tree, we have our branches, we have our flower, and we can say our crown chakra is our flower. So we are made up, and those who possess melanin, we share the same lifeblood. You know, plants have chlorophyll, we have melanin, and it's made up of the same chemical compound as we know. We process the sun in the same way through, they process through photosynthesis, and our skin absorbs the sunlight for us. So it's just a turning point right now for a lot of people, because it's now nature versus virtual. And some people, it seems, are anti-nature. Some would rather just stay in the home and play with their goggles as opposed to being outside in the natural sun and the natural wind and the natural moon and the natural ocean, natural river, natural lake, natural walking trail, natural mountain, under some natural trees on the natural grass, utilizing the biomagnetic functions of this earth for us as biomagnetic beings. So I just wanted to jump in with this video, talk about some plant therapy, and introduce the services that All Living Things will be supplying with plant therapy. We have our plant-based essential oils that provide stress relief, and as an aromatherapy situation. So I will come in. There's a meditation service offered. It's not guided meditation. I believe meditation should be done on your own. It connect with your higher self. So it's not like I'm going to be guiding you through your meditation. Like I said, the plant is the therapist. I am the facilitator of the healing. So my energy, definitely bring my energy, and I got some good ass energy. So that is one service that's going to be offered. So we're going to have a 30-minute meditation session with plant-based essential oils. Depending on the issues that you may be dealing with, we'll pinpoint the right essential oil to trigger a positive response. We can also create a succulent arrangement, and that's a small, I don't have one near me, that is what All Living Things is based off of, succulent arrangement. So I found creating those is one of the most therapeutic things. Depending, they have such different colors, such different variety. One that I'm stuck on now is through a company called Cosmic Cactus, and they create them with a non-toxic paint to just make it colorful, and they have all colors: blue, purple, pink, plum, so many different colors. So we're going to create a succulent arrangement, and that's going to allow you to get your hands dirty, feel that plant, understand how we're going to take care of this plant, how we're going to equate that plant care to self-care, because everything you do to that plant, are you doing for yourself? Or everything you're doing for yourself, are you doing for that plant? So that's going to refocus, readjust your attention on self, and as well as maintaining this living thing. Also, we can plant, as opposed to a succulent plant, we can plant an indoor plant where that's going to be more of an airflow, ambiance, motivator. It's going to be more of an eyepiece for you. I love this this palm, this marginata here, is very easy to maintain. People are so concerned about maintenance of an indoor plant, and they just end up overwatering it. And that is where attention comes in, responsibility, because you just can't throw water on a problem. You have to investigate. You got to say, what's going on? What is, when this starts to show signs of overwatering or underwatering, I have to look at the leaves. I got to look at the soil. I got to probe down into the soil to see what's going on. I may have to lift it up, look underneath the leaves to see if there's an infestation of bugs. So it's a lot that goes into maintaining a plant, and with that, it's helping to heal you. We can start a garden, whether you want a raised bed or a little container garden, depending on your living situation. I believe everybody should be growing their own food, something, herbs, um, picking your own herbs to make tea, to dry your own herbs. I love it. I love it. And I got a mortar and pestle. I um, crush up my herbs and make my tea. And I have a gratifying feeling that I grew that. That's a healing plant. That's a healing herb that I can heal myself. I know what these herbs can do. And I am taking on, and I didn't have to go to a store to do any of it. I didn't have to go to a store to do. I was completely self-sufficient in my healing. So it's such a gratifying feeling. And lastly, if you don't want to get your hands dirty, if you don't want to meditate, if you don't want to touch anything, we can go for a nature walk, because you're still out in nature. You're still involved with the plants. You're still taking in everything that they have to offer, and it's still going to bring your stress level down, still going to have you in that meditative state as you're walking, and it's just going to be all around beneficial. So those are the services that All Living Things will soon be supplying for those in need. As I said, for those who are on a spiritual journey and can understand where I'm coming from with this. It may not be for everybody. It's for those who are serious, who know, I have some issues. When everybody's not around, I'm not okay. When everybody's around, I'm not okay. And disclaimer, I am not a therapist yet. But I do have a purpose to heal. I have an ear to listen. I often wondered why, I would meet people and they would just go in to telling me all of their business. And it is a part of my aura, a part of my birth chart, that the feeling that I give is I invite you. I invite you to be free, to be comfortable. And I don't mind, now that I understand my purpose. There's no judgment. There's no judgment. And with that, the plant is going to lead you through to healing. And I'm here to assist. So I appreciate you for watching. I pray that we can get on this healing train, because it's the time. It's far past time to heal. And I'm thankful that I have been selected to help. So, peace.